I'm Ryan Osbach with Copeland, Canada, representing Vilter Compressors, and I'm back again in Brantford, Ontario, this time to remove the slide valves out of a VSS601 filter screw compressor.
You need to remove slide valve command shafts from the compressor discharge manifold. Naturally in field, the actuators already attached to it. As well, they'll need to be removed. Open the shaft. So remove this capacity, now I'm removing the volume. Look at shaft. Two command shafts to the side. And prepare to remove this back. Drive all the cold hardware out of it. Install a guide rod so the discharge manifold can't drop down and down to the ground. So carefully pull away.
So we are definitely worn out on this training compressor. Some significant problems. Rack and gear would likely have to be replaced. Probably is causing binding at one point. And the volume on the other side showing much the same indications. You can see how it's much sharper on these teeth than it is over here on these ones. Probably doing a lot of catching, a lot of force pulling down, driving there. So where you're going to do your visual inspections, check for play. The next step is to remove the gears from the cross shaft. In order to do that, we're going to have to put a punch in and drive these roll pins in and anchor to the shaft. Always wear your safety glasses when using striking tools.
It will not be completely necessary to fully remove the roll pin. In this case, because it's a training compressor, we're going to reuse those. If you remove these in the field, you would replace that every time.
Remember, when you have a spacer, which end it was on. This is installed on this side. So just make note. We could set that to the side. And we'll get the next cross shaft out.
The cross shaft do have, you got to be wary of it. Do have a set screw that runs through the bottom, and I just have to hold the roll pins in place so it doesn't come off. Loose. Pull this cross shaft. There's that spacer. It's on the other one.
With the cross shafts, you're also going to want to inspect them for wear. This cross shaft had been seeing some wear. You can feel the grooving from it there. Might be a good idea if this compressor was to go back into service to replace the cross shaft and the gears and the racks on this compressor. Next, we're going to remove the guide blocks for the racks. Just the two bolts on each side.
We're typically get loctite into location. not to mix these up. To the side.
Again, these blocks can be checked for wear, grooving, peeling, turning, twisting. This one, you can actually see it just starting to cup over. A bit of a bridge. That's just from wear over time. It's from stress and strain from these blocks trying to turn inside. There are 3 plugs located along either side of these compressors that run in parallel. With either slide valve. Remove the plugs. Yeah, open it. Now, it should pull out. It's easy. And then that exposes the carriage assembly for our parallax slide valves. The parallax slide valve, the entire assembly comes complete with the carriage, as well as the capacity slide and the volume slide. So the capacity slide and the volume slide in these positions would be sitting at 0% on either side, with capacity having the range to move 0 to 100 and volume having the ability to move 0 to 100. Inspection for these is to make sure that we have good, clean, that we're not having any ridges or raised faces, that we're not getting any too severe gouges or grabbing, that we're not seeing a lot of sweeping or grinding marks in rotation that would show that we're actually making contact with the rotor surfaces. We also don't want a lot of significant deep grooving to indicate that we're making contact with the housing as well. On the back side, we do have our guides. These actually have a caliper, have a clearance as well. So you can check those with feeler gauges, make sure that they measure out. Now that we got the slide valve out, maybe we're gonna get ready to put it back in. That we're going to have to remove the gate rotor cover and get into it. As I said before, what to expect that OLED is going to come out for these kind of covers, these gate rotor covers. So we're just gonna run it up the inside. Make sure that we can get all the way inside of it. Just clear all the way through. The shim material is easier if you have instead of feeler gauge, just because it covers a wider surface area. Gives you a little more chance to cross if you cross more land. Just make sure everything is okay. This one is so far actually in a good spot. Not much trial in there. You just gotta have some patience. Make sure you're crossing over on the lands on everything, and not just. There we go. I'm all the way through now. And that is where I want it to be. So I'll now tighten up the slide valve in this position. This is a training compressor, so I'm getting away without torquing it, but you do have to make sure that you set the proper torque values. You also want to make sure that you remove your shim material.
Let's set the guide blocks back in place. I'm not going to tighten these up yet. I actually have to set the position on these as well. That's the wrong spot. These are not quite tight. Not yet. I'm just going to leave them on there loose.
All right, when it comes to reinstalling your command shafts and your cross shafts, the gears need to mesh in the same teeth. So it's essentially timing. You have to make sure that you time these gears properly together so that both times on both sides we have full engagement. So, or not necessarily full engagement, however, that these are, each slide valve is actually in the same position on both sides of this machine. So on this gauge this one that I'm setting here, then I need to make sure I'm able to knock that one back into place. So I need to set that gear to the same tooth. So I'll count back on my rack. 1, 2, 3. My fourth notch on the rack is fully engaged. I'll make sure to duplicate that on this side. 1, 2, 3, and my fourth rack is to be fully engaged. That works out perfectly for me. A little larger, allows me to be a little further out and away and cover a good surface, and then I can give it a good strike. And then I can finish with the punch. Then we'll set the other side.
Spacer on the right side. 1, 2, 3. 5 is now fully engaged. I'm going to set that with the brass punch. I could go with the brass punch.
It's almost there. The last thing for us to set and check. So the guide blocks, I want to put 3,000 shim in there, or feeler gauge, and then we're going to press down into contact and tighten up. You want to have Loctite on these bolts, keep them in, and take them to the correct torque value. Oh, look at that, a little too tight. Can't do my shit out. Back it off so I can get that to slide. I'll take it back up. Finish work. Same thing, let's do our capacity slide. Next step is to put this machine back together. And that's a slide valve removal and reinstallation. I'm Ryan Osbeck with Copeland Canada, representing Vilter Compressors. Thanks for watching.